Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my live. So my name is Angeline. Okay, a little technical glitch. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Angeline Constantinou, and I am the founder and CEO of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where we help women amplify their voice and we empower these women who have suffered from domestic violence. We empower them to step into their true calling and purpose. So, welcome to the broadcast today. And today we are going to be having an amazing conversation with my good friend, Diane Storey. We are going to be, she's going to be sharing her story here on my private Facebook group here where I'm live, and I'm also live on my YouTube channel. So we're going to be talking about Diane Storey's story and navigating your way back to you. So Diane has been in the health and fitness industry for most of her life. So she is a mentor, teacher, coach of all ages, and most recently educating on covert abuse and recovery. She had a wonderful life and a wonderful marriage until that day when her best friend and life mate passed away unexpectedly. She unknowingly went down that path, and it is now my mission to bring awareness about this sickness to the world. Let people know that they are not crazy, but it does happen more than they think. Education, reinvention, and becoming reacquainted with yourself and what your values are the key elements to becoming a survivor. She also has, Diane also has a book out, and which she's working on, and a webpage that is starting up, and that is strongertodaythanyesterday.com. So without further ado, I am going to bring Diane to the stage.
Hi, Angeline. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. You know, we've been friends for 3 years. We've been connected on social media. You know, like this is the power of social media. So please tell the folks, what time is it where you are right now?
It is about 9:05 a.m.
Bright and early. So did you have your coffee yet?
Yeah, I have my coffee. My one for the day.
I'm having my green tea right now. It's noon here, Eastern time in New York. So if you're watching this live right now in my private Facebook group, please let us know by hashtagging live in the comments below. And please let us know where you are tuning in from. And at the same time, we are live on my YouTube channel, which is Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. And thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. So please let us know where you are tuning in from, because today we're going to be talking about a subject that I feel is shoved under the carpet. And, you know, I would love for you to share your story, Diane, because your story, from what I read, is just making an impact on people's lives. So who is Diane?
Good morning. Diane is a very, very strong person who has always been very opinionated and very animated and very committed to doing the right thing. As you mentioned, my defining moment came when my best friend and partner passed away back in 2000, and I got sent down a wrong road. It took me a while to figure it out. And it took a long time after I figured it out to figure out how to get out of it. I hope that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yes.
You don't know that you're not crazy until you finally say, wait a minute, this is what's happening. And it's happening to me, because abuse doesn't happen to people like us. It happens to other people. And the hardest part about that is being able to admit to yourself the shame and the embarrassment and the insecurities that you have lived with and shut yourself off from your friends and your world because of are things that manifested that you didn't have a lot of control over.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, I commend you for, you know, sharing your journey and also starting your website. So what inspired you? Because I love your tag. I love stronger today than yesterday. I love that. So what inspired you to start your website?
The day that I came to the realization that I'm not going to say it wasn't me, but it wasn't me.
Mm,
As I've written that I'm a survivor, I no longer chose to be a victim. I chose to say I'm a survivor, and I need to share my story to give other women faith and hope and courage the way that I was given. When I started reading your Facebook page and doing your articles and whatnot, you sounded so much like the person that I realized was inside of me, that you'd come up, you'd gone through that process, and it helped me move along quickly.
okay.
Yeah, I came up with stronger today than yesterday, being in the fitness business, because we continue to improve our strength daily through things that we do. And the tagline, navigating your way back to you, it was very important to me to capitalize the your and the you, because I think you and your life get steamrolled and kind of displaced in the confusion.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me, please?
Um,
And for the audience?
yeah, when I realized that I had been abused, I was basically in the discard phase. My husband and I, now ex, were married 13 years. We were together for about 4 years before that, before things came to a head. I was almost 9 years into my marriage with my husband the first time he physically abused me. And I think that I'd realized already that the emotional abuse had been coming about. I just wasn't ready to recognize it. Part of my aha moment, which we all have, is when I sat back and looked at everything after everything had been lost, everything was gone. I literally had nothing but myself and a few personal items. And I realized that I was stronger than the person that he was telling me I was. And I had to gather that strength up and come out of that rabbit hole and come back to find me again and come back to be strong. So to do that, I had to work that roadmap. So that's where the navigation part comes in.
Where the navigation parts comes in. And I know that you talk about covert abuse. So can you go into a little bit detail? Like, because, women are gaslighted. I was gaslighted myself. So explain exactly what covert narcissistic abuse is and how it can have an impact, emotionally on women.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Well, first of all, covert, as the name implies, it's underhanded, under the radar. Um, the abuse doesn't start out as abuse. It starts out as, I think most of us have heard the expression love bombing. In the beginning of a relationship, for whatever the reason, they're very interested in you. They remember the things that you say. They special things. They go out of their way to impress you, and it all seems very genuine at the time. I was beginning dating again, and I just kept coming back to this man because he seemed to remember the things that I told him, and it's paying attention. Um, they don't they don't choose you by accident. They choose you because you're strong. They choose you because you're independent. They choose you for a number of reasons, and a lot of them are the reasons that you are what they are not. You start to release your fears. You talk about things that you would normally talk with a very private, special person about. And they start building this information literally as a library to turn around and to use against you in the future. The narcissistic part of it is they just have, it has to be about them all the time, and they use your truths and your, I say innocence for lack of a better expression, but they use your naivete in you believing that this person is special, this person is the person that they are portraying, they are genuine. They use this to start wearing you down later. I have a car analogy about it, and I know we were talking about cars a little while ago, but I have a car analogy about it. It's like the brand new car that has the 100,000-mile warranty on it. And the person picks it up and starts to drive it, starts to use it, enjoys it, basically takes everything they can from it. And once it's completely devalued, they just turn around and walk away from it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. And you talk about this a lot on your website. Now, as far as traumatic, so let's talk about forgiveness, because I noticed that you talk about forgiveness. So forgiveness to me means, like you will forgive that person for what harm they did, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are back in your life again. So, yeah, I would like you to elaborate on that.
Okay. I wrote a piece, if you don't mind my reading it.
Absolutely.
And it was a prayer of forgiveness. First of all, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are forgiving the person for what they did to you. You're forgiving their actions against you so that you can begin to heal and move on. And my prayer was and is, I think about you every day. I wish I could say it was in a positive way. To have made me feel so unsure of me and believing I am the worst that could be. You lured me in with promises and things that I believed, when in fact, all you were looking to do was take and deceive. I think about you every day. I wish I could say it was in a positive way. I have learned that I was faithful to you and myself and watched you debase me and put me on a shelf. You saw me sinking and did not care. You pushed me deeper and deeper into despair. I think about you every day. I wish I could say it was in a positive way. I tried everything I could to pull myself up. I told myself it was my fault and just to chin up. You watched me struggle. You watched me fall. You stood by delighted and lied about caring for me at all. I wish I could say, sorry, I think about you every day. I wish I could say it was in a positive way. One day I said, I am worth so much more. I realized you cut me to the very core. I learned the hard way it had nothing to do with me, but instead had to do with everything for you and where you needed to be. You had to feel powerful and very, very strong, and it didn't matter who you hurt as you rolled along. I think about you every day. I wish I could say it was in a positive way. By listening to you and believing completely in what you said, I almost convinced myself that I should not be here. But instead, I think about you every day. And now I can say in a positive way, for me to end my struggle, I came to understand, for my sake and my peace of mind, I had to take a stand. I packed up what there was left of you in my mind and moved it to a place that I didn't need to find. I think about you every day, and now I can say in a positive way, because of you, I can truly put our past behind and say, I honestly forgive you for my own peace of mind.
Wow. That is powerful.
And it still hurts. It's
Oh, sure.
not hurt, but at some point you need to remember that you are the person and you are the real person.
Right, exactly. Wow. Wow. That is powerful.
Thank you.
And I love, yeah, and that would bring me to tears too. I mean, I was literally overcome with emotion. And also, your poetry, like you write poetry too. You have quotes and poems.
I do a few. The ones that I have on my website right now, I am rotating them out as there's one from me and there are two from other sources. And they are directly pulled and posted. So grammatically, anything else, it is literally that person's thoughts. And
Right.
then I try and pull one from Facebook every once in a while when I find one. And I do have one up there now that the narcissist did not pick you at random. And it's from a person on Facebook who was anonymous. I've posted it and I've posted it as anonymous on Facebook. But
Okay.
yeah, people just, they're coming to a point now, women are realizing that this is happening way more than we think, because now it's finally being talked about. It's not just about broken teeth and broken bones.
Mm. Right. It's being brought out in the open now, out in public. There are more, which I agree with you on that. And I think it's because, like, I want to talk about like the economics, because right now we're, as far as the economy is concerned, according to the media, we're in a downward spiral right now. And, because of that, domestic violence survivors need resources, especially if they are single moms with children.
Exactly.
So, and I was reading on your website that there are resources. So, can you tell us about, like, on the state level? Because a lot of women ask me, what are the resources that they can tap into?
The resources that are available as far as the state level, and I'll say state and generic, are to go to your local county offices. The district attorney's office has a victims abuse center. They have Department of Human Services, a type of this that they have that is free to anyone. They have legal aid for people who are at a certain level in their income and need help as well. And this can all be accessed by going to your local county and just looking under the listings. It will domestic violence, victim services, this type of heading. The other place that there is, and I discovered this here in Oregon, is there is a Project Innocence of some sort, not in every state, but they are in a lot of states. This one has one, and the way that I found it was to go to the state capital, which was Portland, and to look under, I'm sorry, Salem, and to look under the services that were available. And this is located in Portland. But Salem is the capital here. But if you go to your capital, state capital information, they have, again, listings like this, looking for innocence projects, etc.
Wow, that's great. See, so they can tap into resources.
Right. And I am not a single mom with kids. I've raised my kids. I'm at the other end of the spectrum. And I can honestly say that without my neighbor across the street from where I was living at the time that my final abuse occurred, I would not have known where to go look. Because if you don't either live in the life or you are not accustomed to it, aware of it, then you don't know where to look. So,
Okay. Okay. I see. And thank you for sharing that information. So, for those of you who are going to be watching the replay, make sure you contact your, local government, state government, the district attorney's office so legal aid. How about financial aid? Same thing, because if they need money for food and
same thing.
okay.
DHS is home services, so that's basically for families and children. Welfare, welfare office, welfare concerns, those types of names would be the listings that you would look under your state and local government.
Okay, so state and local government. Okay, great. You know what I want to talk about, the fight trauma response and some of the symptoms and issues that some women may be facing. The fight trauma response anger.
That was the one that probably came the closest to me. Was I did what I did what we all say we'd never do, and I fought back. I lashed out. And that is how my husband got to me. That's how he chose to take me down.
Okay.
Your fight trauma response, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're crying, you are suicidal. I can attest to that. You have those thoughts and actions, and I can attest to that as well. Your stomach is upset all the time. You can't find peace, you can't find calmness, and you don't know why.
Right. Because that's what happened to me. Like initially, I lashed out. So, what are some of the resources, or what are some of the strategies that you incorporated so as not to lash out anymore?
I went through an anger management program that lasted a year.
Okay.
It was meetings once a week. That was probably the most beneficial because it retaught me how to communicate, how to start to get my confidence back in myself, which, as we talked about earlier, is one of those things you lose, is your confidence, because of course you're wrong. Yeah. So I did that. I was going to a counselor, a therapist, and I am and always have been a firm believer in the fact that you need to have someone to talk to. My biggest mistake that I made was not going during the final stages of the unrest. I should have started, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have started about 6 months earlier than what I did. But both my therapists helped me walk through a lot of things. Actually, I started my book because of one of my therapists, and the book is about my journey. The first half of it is done, which is basically journaling the 19 years, the total of 19 years of my life that led up to this. The second part about it is the resources. The third part of it is going to be my successes that have happened in the last 4 years. Plus, I have 26 vitamins from the Bible to post that are going to be, they're the vitamins. They are processes to live by, and they've been pulled directly from the Bible. So there's 26 of those, one for every letter of the alphabet.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing because, that's really important for the women, to have those strategies to implement, meaning not to lash out at the abuser, because that's exactly what they want.
And once you've done that, they win.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And to clarify, they're not vitamins as in what the Bible shows as things being vitamins in the Bible. Number one, like A is for anxiety. So it's a feeling that you have, and then a Bible verse to help you get through it.
Okay. I see. Okay. It's sort of like, yeah, because that's what I do. Like when I work on my content, or I will put a Bible verse underneath it. Yeah. And because for me, during my journey and during my transition, I was aligning myself with God, meaning I turned to God for guidance. And is that what you did also?
I did. I went back. I say back to God. God has never been out of my life, but it had been given a back seat for a while. It's always been there and been a part of my life, but reconnecting again and re-energizing that contact and context has helped me a lot as well.
That's good. Me too. Spiritual, because guess what? The enemy wants to take us down.
Exactly.
So we have to make sure that we're armored up.
We have to be on the up, and we have to know that we have our strength and we have our faith, and that
exactly
has to be unshakable. It has to be there.
You hit the nail on the head, being unshakable.
Mm-hmm.
When is your book going to be released?
I was afraid you were going to ask that.
I ask everyone that, so you're not the only one.
It's taken me a year and a half to write the first part of it. I'm
That's
giving
okay.
myself until March of next year, which March is a significant month for me age-wise. I'm giving it until my birthday of 2024. So there it is now with you. I have made a commitment to somebody.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. That's great. It takes a long time to write a book, right? Because
It does.
okay, why is that? Yeah, why is that? Like for me, I'm doing the same thing, but it's taking me a long time. So, is it like a compilation of journals that I mean, did you like go back and refer to journals as far as writing your book?
I went back and referred to some of my journals. The other hard part about journaling is sometimes you can have that fear that somebody's going to find your journal and read it, so you don't always put everything in it. So coming to grips with that was actually being completely honest with myself. That's very difficult, and that's me as a person to be that honest. So the first part of it, which was, it's 26 chapters. I took the number 26, but it's 26 chapters, but they all had significance, and each one of them, I'm sure, as you know, as you're writing, emotions come back and thoughts come back, and there are things that it's another way for you to work out your life and your feelings.
Okay. Okay, very good. That's yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Writing a book is life-changing. I mean, yeah, it's life-changing. So, what I would like to do is this, because we're coming up to about 30 minutes. I would love to talk about some of the meditations that you've incorporated, because I see that that's on your website as well. So, yeah, let's talk about the meditations. What type of meditations have you implemented in your life to help you feel like, not feel, but in essence, the healing part of meditation?
I am a registered yoga instructor, and I am mat Pilates certified. I am not machine Pilates certified. So a lot of Pilates and yoga, strength, meditation, breathing exercises are probably the most important components of both of those works. And I do a lot of breath work. I do a lot of visual work. I've noticed as I go through and look on YouTube and similar places that a lot of what I have incorporated in my daily life for the last 40 plus years is a big part of what they're asking people to do today, which is basically, we need to slow down and visualize. We get caught up, we talked about COVID a little while ago. I think that the strain of COVID, not only physically, but mentally, was the fact that we were cooped up. We could watch television, we could be online, we could watch television, we could be online, and just so much negativity coming because everything you're seeing online, everything you're seeing on television, the news and everything else is it's very downfalling. It's not uplifting. So a lot of visualization. I meditate for about a half an hour every night before I go to bed, because I do have to talk myself down. I journal, not every day, but I journal at least 3 times a week. I can honestly say that I give myself 3 days a week to journal. I try and keep a positive thought going out every day, and we're not always perfect, but when I leave the house in the morning, it's with a good intention that I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to be mindful of people, and I really try to button my mouth most of the time.
You're amazing, Diane. I'm just so happy and grateful that you decided to share your voice and share your passion, your mission, and, everything about you here on my podcast. Because I can tell you this, the listeners next week are going to be, forget it. They're going to be like totally impressed. You're just an amazing You're amazing, kind, warm soul. And that's why I am so happy and grateful that we've been connected and friends for 3 years. And this is the first time that we're actually meeting.
It is.
So
And I am, as I said earlier this week, I'm very humbled and very grateful.
Thank you.
It's been, yeah, I've got my goosebumps. It is an amazing experience. I'm humbled by the work that you're doing. And
Thank you.
I see it needs to be talked about more and more, and people taking the step up to the platforms like you have, the spiritual side of it, the emotional side of it, and the rebuilding side of it are also important. And you're coming out with all of those things. And I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you're welcome. The healing and empowerment piece right after, like the healing and empowerment, that is so important. That is so important. And also recognizing the signs of narcissistic abuse, because narcissistic abuse and domestic violence are totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. And unfortunately, when people hear the phrase domestic violence, and I have to say, I always did. I did. It does not mean, like I said, chipped teeth and broken bones, bruises, cuts, things like that. It's the emotional abuse is the covert part of it, the sneaky part. It's the backhanded compliments, the withholding of communication and affection, or using words against people. And we all lash out with words that we wish we could take back. We all say things that we know that the minute they're out of their mouth, it's like, oops, did I really say that? And you can say you're sorry. But if it continues to be a pattern, that's when it becomes abuse.
Exactly. So for the listeners and the people who are going to be catching the replay, is your website the best way to contact you?
Yes, it is. StrongerTodayThanYesterday.com, all one word. And my email address I will give over the tube is Diane, Diane .Storey, STOREY HERR at
HERR, right?
GRR at gmail.com.
Okay, let me put that in there.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So for folks who would like to reach Diane, get in contact with Diane, please send her an email to diane.storey, HERR at gmail.com. Great. Okay, awesome. And then also, obviously, if you would like to, learn more about Diane and the work that she is doing, please go to strongertodaythanyesterday.com. Quick question. Do you offer a free consultation?
Yes, I do.
Great.
I offer a 30-minute consultation, and it is completely free.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So what is the special message that you would like to share with the audience today?
You are always stronger than you believe you are. You are always better than you believe you are. And you are always more healthy than you think you are.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Diane, thank you so much for being a special guest on my podcast. And thank you for sharing your story and your wisdom and your empowering words. It's just, I just love the work that you are doing.
I thank you. And I thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. And thank you for being on my podcast. And we finally met face to face.
Yes.
So which I totally love. See that? There's nothing like putting a name to the face. So isn't it? It's just like,
it's like, I know you. I really know you now.
Yeah. And I think COVID changed a lot of things, because I remember starting my podcast 2 months before COVID happened. So, this has caused us to be virtual, basically.
Yeah.
To this day, even.
And the upside of it, though, is look how many more people you have been able to reach out to than you might have been without the extended use of the internet. I think what you're doing is fabulous. And I see from our group and stuff that you have people from all over the world. It's not just people in the United States. So that's a huge blessings for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, because our mission and vision is to impact 1 million women worldwide. Oh yeah. This is a global problem, and more women are, amplifying their voices overseas too, because overseas is a huge issue, especially like in the other countries like South Africa. There is a problem with, narcissistic abuse and domestic violence. So women are speaking out, and it's important for us to break the silence and to break the stigma.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to thank you again for being on my show today. So please hang out in the green room right after this broadcast is over. So what I want to say is this: I want to make a special announcement that I am hosting my first domestic violence self-discovery revolution workshop. And and Diane is part of that too. So we start on August 28th, and that is going to be live in my Facebook group, which is another Facebook group. So please go register, ladies. If you haven't registered yet, we still have some spots left. letsbreakthesilence.com/challenge. And this is going to help you move into healing and empowerment. I'm here because one of the reasons why that I'm super excited that I created this is because we are here to create a community of sisterhood. That is so important. That is so important. So please, if you have not registered yet, please go to letsbreakthesilence.com/challenge. And we start on August 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm super excited for that. So Diane, thank you again for being on my show. And this broadcast is coming to a close. So please look for this podcast next Wednesday, which will be live on Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the other live streams that you listen to. And also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe, because I do weekly podcast episodes and on my YouTube channel. So I wish you all an amazing day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.